live. Today on the Cristopolis show, I have the honor of interviewing Joaquin the Divine, a prolific MC. He has a new album out called Children of the Scorned. We're going to bring him in, talk to him about the new album. Let's get him in. My bro, thank you
Valid.
so much. We're talking about Children of the Scorned, the new album. We're talking about how this album is more vulnerable. It's more about real life and not as lyrical as in the past, right?
Right.
Not that it's not as lyrical. You're not kind of doing this super MC that you have in the past, but you have that skill set. And the
Yeah.
question that I was asking was, have you always been so introspective, but on past albums, like, you kind of focus more on the super lyrical, or did you, for this album, kind of pivot and have to dig in deep?
I think on my past stuff, like if we talking like Delusions, Parables of the Sower, and then like, Black Sun Zoo, like those albums I felt like I was introspective and I would give hints of it. You know what I mean? I'll have like certain records where I would be a little bit more vulnerable, but still the way I was writing it was a little bit more like complex and a little bit, you know what I'm saying, lyrical than for for the average to kind of pick up of what I was saying, especially because I was using all these weird ways of saying things or metaphors and shit like that. So it wasn't that straightforward or hard hitting. But then around the time when I got to Fear and Loathing, you know what I'm saying? Like personally, it was just like my own growth and evolution. Like I kind of wanted to not like bury the message so deep in the world building and just make sure people hear what I'm saying. You know what I mean? And that's always something I had, but I always, felt like maybe I should push all of this artsy way of doing it on people. But sometimes, less is more, and that's what I'm learning now with Children of the Scorn.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Let me know if I'm on or if I'm off, right?
Okay.
But Children of the Scorn to me sounds like, um, for me it seems like you're a young cat with like an old soul. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like really ahead of your years lyrically, and were able to kind of come into hip hop and just be prolific and get all this attention.
Hmm.
And at the same time, you showed the level, right? So you showed that skill level,
Hmm.
but because you're young, you're actually living things, right? You're like, it comes out in this album. You talk about relationships, you talk about, you know, a female or
Hmm.
heartbreak
Hmm.
and drama
Hmm.
and things that have happened maybe with the police,
Hmm.
things that we all know, the unfair treatment that black
Hmm.
men have experienced in society. And maybe like when you're younger, sometimes like you're sheltered a little bit, right? Because you're
Right.
like in high school and you're in college, right? You've had a successful career,
Hmm.
outside of music and sports, and but there comes a point in time where like all that shit is not just rumors, like that's real.
Right.
There's and as you start to become a man,
Hmm.
and a relationship maybe goes the wrong way,
Right.
things happen with outside of music in real life, and then right now in your songs you have this maturity of some real
Hmm.
shit that has gone down
Hmm.
between between albums, right?
Right.
Without getting into your personal business, because that's your business, my bro, completely artistically, like
Hmm.
how much of that is spot on? How much of did you kind of live through things and you said, you know what, I'm gonna share my story so
Right.
the other people that are going through stuff, you know what I'm saying,
Hmm.
can like listen to these words?
Um, it's all really real, besides the story that I told on Ward of the State where I, was talking about, kids. I kind of made a just a combination of all the people that I know that's been through the system and that goes through those type of foster homes and things like that. But other than that, the album was all me and my life, you know what I mean, and what I've been through. I think I'm starting to learn how important it is for people to kind of really feel you. And like you said, I'm getting older. Even though I'm young, I'm getting older. So with that comes a lot of, wisdom and time to reflect on what's happened. So, my other albums is more like I'm telling you what I'm going through, but I'm giving a general output, or I'm just like you said, I'm doing the acrobatics around it. Now it's like I'm in a place where I'm maturing, and it's like I don't kind of want to be a character no more. You know what I mean? I want
Mm-hmm.
people to take what I'm doing serious and understand like I'm not trying to just rap to rap. Like I actually have a message, and I'm very passionate about this culture. So, I want to put myself in it 100% now.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's good. What, the album drops. What reaction as the MC? You know what I'm saying? First of all, you put yourself out there on this album, right? So there's the
Hmm.
kind of like, yo, I'm putting myself out there. And then second, the reaction. Like, what was it like for you to put yourself out there and be vulnerable? And then what was the reaction that you felt, the listeners, your fans,
Hmm.
what did they have? What reaction did they have?
Um, I would say this too, like every album is kind of like it's almost like books, you know what I mean, or movies. Like it's a part one, and is you could kind of see where I'm going. So on Fear and Loathing, I always loved my artist and my brother Javi because I felt like he's one of the most vulnerable, prolific like writers I've ever heard, like around my age, and so descriptive on what he's going through and how he's been through it. So when we worked on that album, like you said, I had to push myself to bring that out in a raw sense, but still make it clever and witty. So it started there, and then the more I wrote and the more I sat with that stuff, I'm like, I'm really feeling this. You know what I mean? I'm feeling this rawness and this energy, and I feel like I liked how people was taking to it. Like people was starting to hear, like, oh, he's a real person. Like he really rap. He really going through something. I guess before, it was so masked up, like people couldn't tell. So it was it took time to get there, but I've always been practicing and trying to be more vulnerable and listening to my favorite artists or reading books or even like reading scripts to movies and seeing how they would write out a character's like whole, epilogue and how that character would grow. So, I took that approach and really focused on that.
It's dope, man.
Hmm.
What what track was your most vulnerable track on this album? Is there one that you could say like, it was this one?
Either Bambi Red or like Aim at the Embassy. Those two tracks. Yeah, the one about my shorty or the one where I kind of just I kind of painted the picture of like what I'm going through and how everything around me and my environment is affecting me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
think that there's probably a high probability, and especially it gives good content for like clips and things later. We could talk about each of those songs, right? So,
Okay.
Aim at the Embassy.
Hmm.
What is that track about? And talk to us about how you were a little bit more vulnerable in that song.
I just felt like when I heard the beat, it almost like where I was at the time. It sounded like what I was going through, and it was almost like when you just on the edge and you kind of like you really want to give up and you really want to be the victim of everything that's happening to you, but you still can't be. Like life is way worse somewhere else. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? And that be the main thing I fight. Like I know you got to go through life, and sometimes it get really hard, but I can never forget like how bad it could have been, or how it used to be, or how bad somebody else is living it. You know what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
So when I wrote that track, the first lines kind of tell you, I'm walking on a thin thread, ego tripping, I've been dead. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that for me. It was one of those records.
That's dope. That's dope. And then you talked about the one that's about the shorty. Can you talk to us
Hmm.
about that one?
Yeah. So I got a relationship. You know what I mean? That sometimes be on and off, and we young trying to figure things out. So I kind of wanted to challenge myself to write one of those records. Um, I've never really written directly about a female for a whole record or told that story. I
Yeah,
told a lot of stories that I've made up, whether it be a doomsday story or how I'm talking to a comment or some crazy shit like that, or some story about, somebody I know in jail, but I never told like, a personal story about somebody I dealt with. So I just wanted to challenge myself and see how good it'll come out. And to my surprise, a lot of people really related to it. And I heard, grown dudes or people my age, telling me they cried when they heard it. And I didn't even look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's dope.
yeah.
Hmm.
Are you still in contact with her?
Yeah, 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 yeah. We still, that's my girl right now. Yep. Hmm.
What was her reaction to the record? Not
Um,
everybody gets a record. You know what I'm saying? Not everybody gets a record in life, period. You know, like what was that moment when, because there's two moments, right?
Mhm,
There's the moment when it's first done and you share
mhm.
it, and then there's the moment when that joint's streaming on Spotify.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I showed it to her, you know what I'm saying, she was shocked and surprised, and you know what I mean. I think she really liked it. She said she really liked it, but I think the reaction kind of hit home more like, oh, this is dead as a record that people really, gravitate towards. And I wrote it thinking maybe it'd be more like ladies would like it,
Yeah,
but to my surprise, like a lot of more dudes was like, "Yo, bro, this is exactly how I feel." So it's dope, you know.
yeah. I can tell you that, like, out of all the records, like,
Hmm.
um, that's the one that like stood out to me the most because it's so vulnerable, and it's one of those things that, like, as the individual, it's uncomfortable because you're putting yourself out there, you're putting your
Yeah,
business out there. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But really, like, and honestly, like, I'm listening to lots of artists. Like, the more vulnerable you are, like, I'm not thinking about your private business. I'm just listening to the story and then relating to it, like, from my life. I've been married for years, and I related to that record a lot because there's always like drama. You're always doing self work. There's always friction, and you got to change and become better, or not. You don't change, and shit blows up.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And like, that's real
Yeah.
life. That's actually how life actually is. So when you hear somebody that's got a dope voice, they're nice with their rhymes over a dope beat, talking about this type of stuff,
Hmm.
that's uncommon to hear. You don't hear that every
Yeah.
day. So it was dope. That's the one that stood out to me the most.
Yeah, that's love, bro. And I'm starting to learn too, bro, because I never really looked at myself as having the illest voice or having like, I don't know, music that really impact people, but I'm starting to really see like people really take to what I do and take it very serious. So when I started to learn that, I said I gotta be more intentional about the message and what I'm writing since people are feeling it or being emotionally affected. So not that I wasn't before, but now I want to take it to another level and show like I could really write if I have to. You know what I mean? I could really do this. So it's levels.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Mhm.
dope. I see in the comments there, "Stay
Right.
sharp." Right? You say that. You say that's one of your
Hmm.
taglines, right? We see that written. I relate that with Joaquin the Divine.
Hmm.
Can you tell us what "Stay sharp" means to you?
Um, you know what I'm saying? That for me, stay sharp. You know what I mean? It really just mean like be your best self. You know what I mean? Like, um, just stay on your p's and q's. Like don't ever like let life, you know what I'm saying, or anything take you out of your mode or out of your whatever it is you passionate about. You know what I'm saying? Just go hard and be the best at it. You know what I'm saying? And be strategic about what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How did that come up? Like, is that something that like came out in a rhyme, or is that like how did that wind up being like
yeah.
your moniker?
Yeah, it's crazy because like it's something my pops used to say a lot. You feel me? Like stay sharp. And then even my basketball coaches like they will always say that to me like yo stay sharp, don't fall off the course. So I don't know. When I started working on Delusions, I literally just said it at the beginning of the track. I don't know why. I was putting myself in a whole feudal Japan mode, and I'm like, how could I take something from my life and put it in this world? And it just stuck. Like I would see people like literally just tag me like or write me like stay sharp, and I'm like, fuck it. You know what I'm saying? It works.
Yeah,
So and I think it kind of like my rhyme style kind of really I guess like relates or parallel to the saying. So a lot of people be like, yo, you just so sharp and with what you saying. So
yeah, yeah.
yeah,
There's a mental and spiritual
right,
and philosophical aspect
right,
to your to your words,
hmm,
right? It reflects from who you are. Um, I've had the good fortune of speaking with you in the past, talking about your
hmm,
past works, but I think that this is a subject that doesn't get old.
hmm,
Um, if you could share with us, some of the thinkers that have impacted you that you love, maybe some of the ones that that you're leaning on right now, right?
Hmm.
Because you're in a time of growth. You've released, maybe the most, or at least one of the most introspective and vulnerable projects,
Hmm.
right? And you've gone through some adult adversity, right,
Hmm.
between projects. What type of thinkers have you leaned on, have helped you, or are guiding thoughts for you now?
Um, people like is it Rene Descartes? I
Yeah.
think so. Therefore, I am. You know what I mean? People like that. Of course, like listening to dudes like Malcolm. You know, not to be cliche.
Nah, man. Hey, you can't, Malcolm. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. You know, I do a lot of just reading of the Booker T. Washington's, just a lot of stuff, bro. I watch like neuroscientists. I don't even know their name. Just talk, about philosophy and psychology and how all these different things. I'm just into these people. I just sit on my phone all day, or I'm reading something that really affect me. Carl Jung, you know what I mean. Carl Jung is another one. Just that whole world of stuff, man. It's sitting with just even movies, bro. I sit there and somehow I get so introspective and I get so connected to even art or these make believe tales. Man, I kind of just get the philosophy from there too sometimes. You know what I mean? So it's everything. It's a culmination of everything I'm into, and everything I take in and feed myself has a purpose, has a message. Not I don't sit and watch nothing that's bullshit just to be watching it. You know what I mean? So I think it just inevitably comes out that way.
Yeah.
I think that's how I go about it.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really like those thinkers
Hmm.
that you mentioned. What's crazy to me is the cats like Carl Jung, you know, was boys and hung
Right.
out with like Freud.
Freud.
Like
Yeah.
like that they chilled like this.
Sigmund
You know what I'm saying? And
Freud.
like shared ideas.
Hmm.
That's so
Yeah.
crazy to me.
Even one of my favorite artists of all time, Jill Scott Heron. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pieces of a Man. Like, that album, Pieces of a Man, to me is one of the greatest albums of all time, and that's my personal favorite album of all time. And I go back, listen to his music and his interviews, and I'm just studying his words. He was one of the few artists I feel like he wasn't trying. Like, it goes back to, he wasn't trying to be a character. He was dead ass. You know what I mean? And that's the type of people I look up to.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, when you talk about Gil Scott Heron and people like Booker T. Washington and
Hmm.
Malcolm X, um, and then for me, like I connect the dots with like Stay Sharp, right?
Right,
And I think of Black Excellence,
right.
you know, and I hear that especially like in this album, right,
Hmm.
where you talk about um, maybe experiencing some of the systematic things that have been put in place that are
Yeah,
they're large and you know they're by
yeah.
very smart people, very energetic and smart people that have found ways that are not
Hmm.
obvious to oppress other peoples, right?
Right.
And then you have these types of thinkers that you talked about, right?
Hmm.
Uh, Orators and leaders like Malcolm X, leaders and writers like Booker T. Washington,
Hmm.
performing artists, spoken word artists like Gil Scott Heron, like that were basically talking about a lot of these ideas, but they were also talking about Black excellence,
Like, right.
and presented themselves in a way that
Mm.
what can you say to
Hmm.
people that are living their greatness? They are being great,
Hmm.
and you could kind of see oppression when somebody's being great. It's hard to see oppression when people are breaking the law
Right.
or pimping and pandering, they're selling drugs. But when
Hmm.
you're being great, you can see the oppression is obvious, and
Right.
they were that. They were Black
Eh,
excellence. Can you talk to us about any of that? Right, the systematic
Um,
oppression, Black excellence, and these thinkers and the impact on you.
um, I think I think the part about all of that, just to kind of sum it up, is like it's so subconsciously done. You know what I'm saying? And then when you finally learn that, you know, and you finally can step outside yourself and your ego and see the programming and see, you know, the different ways they split us apart, whether it be religion, whether it be politics, whether it be they gay, we not gay, whether it be like it's so many subcultures of being black that got us so separated and confused that we have completely lost, you know, like direction. And I'm not trying to be preachy, but
Yeah.
it's because we also focus on what we deem is real
Mm-hmm.
instead of what's really real and going on out here. And it's less about black and white or the Chinese, you know, this, that, or the Jew that. It's more like what's happening internally and spiritually how misdirected and fucked up we are. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the fact that we have no more backbone. And we don't have no more backbone because everybody that was a pillar and an actual leader that actually stood for something, that had morals and principle, they got them out of here. You know what I'm saying? So now
Mm-hmm.
we looking up to all of these half-ass capitalists, wannabe, you know, black people and all of this fake pseudo knowledge shit that people think is going to change your life. And it's like these people don't got the answers. They just actors, you know what I mean? They want to act like a Malcolm X. They can't be him though. You know what I'm saying? They want to act like a Booker T. You can't be him though. You know what I'm saying? They don't sit here and study law. They don't study psychology. You don't study nothing that could really get you far in life besides what's going on around you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to get too preachy, but to me, it's that deep. Like you can't say you for a cause or you for wherever we, you know, in our best interest, and you don't sit there on your own time and do the work to be a better human and a better thinker. You know what I'm saying? So that's what those people represent for me. It's the no bullshit. It's I really want to be um a sharp, successful, you know what I mean, person that give back to the community the right way.
That's dope, man. That's good. That's good. You know, we talked about, you know, the album Children of the
Mhm.
Scorned, and how like that album is shows like a different side of you and an evolution, right?
Mhm.
The I think the question is for a lot of people, you know, like, oh snap, like what angle is he gonna come at next? You work often with Javi, you work often with KJ, you work with other artists like P.U.R.E. You know, we got Coach that's got, you know, a lot of artists that he works with
Mhm.
that, you know, you're connected with. Um, and then, you know, I know that there's talk of an upcoming project, like a three-part project. What can you share with us about what's coming next?
Um, I feel like that whole world, you know, mad scientists kind of play what we call it the Gonzo style journalism. Me and Javi kind of tapped into on Fear and Loathing. We're gonna kind of give y'all some more of that, some more, you know, wild, introspective but real life shit again. Um, so a part two of that whole world is coming, and then I am working on another, you know, Sun Tzu sequel. Um, and my foot is just on the gas, man. Like even before you called me, bro, like I was up till 5 in the morning just writing and working on a deluxe album for Children of the Scorn. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of work, bro, and a lot of different worlds I'm gonna keep tapping into. But I think I found something special with this one. You know what I mean? And this might be the energy I kind of build off of for a long time.
Yeah. Did it feel different releasing such a personal album?
Yeah, bro. It felt different and I don't know because I'm so used to doing so much with every album. I'm so used to putting so much into the details. So this time when it literally was just myself, I sat with
Yeah, there's no featurings, right?
yeah. There's no feature and that's another thing, bro. I wanted no features. I wanted to kind of prove to myself like, yo, if you are as dope as you say you are, you know what I mean, put yourself out there. And that was what it was. Like if your message is as real as it is, then you put it out there then. Don't put no bullshit in it. So it was different, bro. I wasn't sure. But when it dropped and I heard everything back, is when it all hit me. You know what I mean? Like, damn, this shit is crazy. I didn't even think it was that good though, if I'm being honest, bro.
Album is fire. The album is fire. And the other thing about it is like separate from the reaction of the public,
Hmm.
you actually have a time slice of who you are at that moment in time because that you really put it out there. Like this is what you're going through. This is what was going on. You really put it all out there.
Hmm.
Like you'll have that forever. And other stuff like you was like showing lyrical abilities,
Hmm.
making incredible music, but
Hmm.
you could have made those dope songs at different moments in
Right.
time because you were showing skill with lyric. You were putting together dope songs. The things that you put into to this album were things that you have lived.
Right.
Almost by like a diary, like biographical.
Right. And that's real, bro. You know what I'm saying? I think, yeah, everything else, before I was trying to prove I could be a rap creative, uh, you know what I'm saying? Like I could be like the Marcy's and the Dooms and some of the artists I really look up to, the super, you know, crazy writer type. But now it's like I could still do that, but I think I'm finding my own way to do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm really finding my own just sound, bro. You just get better the more you do this thing. So yeah.
So there's like some Spike Lee in the album
Yeah.
too. You know what I'm saying? Can
Yeah.
you talk to us about were you spending a lot of time with Spike? Like, cause it's like multiple Spike movies.
Yeah, yeah. I was watching a lot of Bean Boozle, bro. A lot of Crooklyn. Uh, the movie, the Clan movie he made. I went through a binge. You know what I mean? And his vibe and his movies
Yeah,
was the muse for this album. You know what I mean? I tried to kind of make my own Spike Lee movie with this. 'Cause,
yeah,
his movies are always like it's the black message there with a little bit of like kind of comedy or a little bit of relief. So,
yeah,
that's kind of what I try to do with this. This is my own version of a Spike Lee joint. You know what I mean? So, yeah,
yeah. That's the Ja King joint.
Jock King joint. Yeah, yeah. Yep. They say it on the
That's
back
dope.
cover too. Yep.
That's so you hinted at the upcoming deluxe version of this album.
Hmm.
Um, without giving up too much, right? What can you share with that? Like, are there going to be new tracks? Are there remixes? What can people be hopeful of?
Definitely new tracks. And I think definitely the shit I wrote 5 in the morning today is probably some of the best shit I ever wrote. You know what I mean? So
Wow.
y'all definitely about to get a crazy just 4 songs, and I might rearrange the albums with the new 3 or 4 songs to kind of give it a new vibe. Because one thing I am hearing is like, it's almost like I made an underground version of Damn, because it's like you could just click on any song and dive into that world. I keep hearing like this time, my last albums was like almost like a book or a movie. You start at the beginning, you go through it to the end,
Yeah.
and you got to sit with it and resonate. Now people are telling me like, bro, I feel like I click on one song and I go into that world of that movie, and then I come out and go to the next one. So I kind of want to put emphasis on that and rearrange the songs a little bit with the new tracks I'm gonna put on the album.
Oh, that's dope.
Hmm.
That's dope. Can you share with us a little bit of like your creative process? Like, so like, do you like record? Do you like record right then? Do you write the whole song then do it? Do you do it like do you record yourself and then take it to a studio somewhere else? Do you just take people into and for underground artists too that like really admire you as an
Hmm.
MC? If you could share part of your creative process.
Most definitely, bro. I say it all the time. Like first, it's no writing involved at all. You know what I mean? I get a title, I put the title on my notes, and then I jot down and list all the source material. What documentaries I'm watching, what books I'm reading, what movies I'm watching. You know what I mean? What quotes in life are sticking out to me from everything I'm taking in. I write it all down. You know what I'm saying? Then I might go get the cover, or if I don't can't get the cover, I'm all over Google getting, inspiration.
Yeah,
I throw the inspiration in the notes. Now I done kind of made a vision board to organize my thoughts. Cause I'm one of them like artists where it could get mad crazy in here. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I gotta see it I gotta see something to kind of start formulating what I'm gonna do. After that, the production comes, whether I'm producing or I'm scouting for it. I get it. You know what I'm saying? I start kind of crafting the sound, what I want to do. I probably during this time going to write one, two, three songs within a week span, trying to figure it out. But then it's always going to be that one to two to three records I write in probably the second week where I'm like, okay, this is where I'm at. This is it. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to go crazy. And it's almost like lightning in a bottle. When I feel like I leveled up or I'm on or doing something different, it's like it just spills out. So the whole album was really probably written in like 2 weeks. You know what
Wow.
I mean? It's probably only written like 2 weeks, and then everything else was just shit out of my control, engineer work, whatever, and just picking the best out of probably maybe 14 songs I wrote. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And yeah, that's how it goes. Oh,
that's
and
dope.
then so yeah, I write everything at the house, and then I'll go to the studio and record it like that, knock it all out. You know what I'm saying?
That's dope.
Hmm.
That's dope. Um, I talked to you about a year ago, right? And like a little bit less than that. And in that period of time, I say like in the last 12 to 18 months, right? But really, in the last year, I feel something's happened in the world that is probably long term going to be about as revolutionary as the internet itself. Like the internet, like was around for a couple years, and people was like, "That's cool." They used it for email or something, and then there started to be layers of it, and now we're doing this, and we watch our movies on it, and everything's the internet. And what I'm talking about is AI and what they call machine learning, right?
Hmm.
So AI has been around for a little bit, but the machine learning aspect of it is super intense because they getting smart. They out there reading everything,
Yeah.
right? And so most of us have had the opportunity, especially people like you that's a writer, a
Hmm.
researcher, an inquisitive mind, to use tools like ChatGPT and even Alexa. Alexa, those things were rudimentary, but ChatGPT is fascinating. Now they've built this in the Meta, and they have all sorts of tools now where like you're asking it questions and it's actually giving you like dope answers, right? You could actually say like, show me every book written by Carl Jung, and boom, and what relationship did Carl Jung have with Sigmund Freud? So it's almost like you're having like a conversation with yourself, with with this AI. For somebody like you who loves to learn, loves philosophy, psychology,
Hmm.
history, um, to what extent are you using any of these tools? And what do you forecast? Where do you think this is kind of all going in the short term?
Um, I'll say it like this. Personally, uh, I've got on Chat GPT just to see, what it is
Yeah,
and play with the technology or whatnot. But I haven't directly like used it, as far as like my creative process yet.
yeah,
Um I feel like anything else, it could be a lot of good, but maybe a whole lot of negatives will come
yeah.
because people are excessive by nature. Like we don't know how to fucking calm down
Uh,
and chill when we're doing too much. And I just think like as long it's like Instagram, if you use it the right way, it's purposeful. But when you start doom scrolling and just looking into people's lives all day, you destroying yourself.
yeah,
And I feel like a lot of this AI shit can potentially really hurt the art form,
yeah,
but I don't think it can destroy shit. You know what I mean? Like everything is always going to come back and people going to snap back out of it. So I think it's good. You know what I mean? But some of the best shit that we've ever heard and seen, none of this shit was here before it. So it's like these things could help us one day see more, groundbreaking things, but I don't feel like they're as necessary as, we may think they are. You know what I'm saying? So I like them, but I'm kind of like careful and wary about it too. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. I was surprised when it was either Instagram or Facebook. The They built it right in. It's built right in now. Like
Right.
they're like, ask me a question. I'm like, I don't want to ask you a question. They're like, talk to me about anything you want. I was like, you want what you want is my data. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? What you want is to build a profile on me.
Exactly.
So, looking, we talked about the new album, Children of Scorn, and the deluxe version that's coming.
Hmm.
But you also hinted at, some work with Javi and doing things more like in a Gonzo style,
Hmm.
right? What can you share with us about that? Like, have there been songs already recorded? Is it like more conceptual at this point?
Um, yeah, it's straight up. It's damn near like I could say like 60% done. Like
Wow.
we wrote a lot of the album. We wrote about 7 songs already. We just got to go record and then probably knock out another 3 more. So yeah, it's done. You know, the concept is it's pretty much just a follow up of everything Fear and Loathing was, you know what I mean, in Las Vegas. I mean Fear and Loathing in Long Island. We back in that world, we back telling you real life stories of situations we've been through with a little bit more creative licensing and zany, and craziness with it, but it's just to drive that message home and make you really feel what we saying,
Yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, y'all seem like when you're together,
Hmm.
right? Y'all just seem like the dopest cats to hang out with. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Y'all seem like
Mhm.
it's like it's gonna be a wild ride. Something like, one of
Yeah,
these movies, you know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
what's that joint? Hangover, or like Kumar and whatever their jam is. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like y'all give off like a hip hop version of that. That's a whole movie concept right there.
That's fire.
Yeah.
I think that's really what it is, especially like if we go away somewhere, it's always like an adventure or movie, bro. Our life is really like, Atlanta, the show
Yeah.
that Child Gambino did.
Yeah.
It's like that. It's a bunch of random and weird encounters that feel damn near like, is this a message or this just another day in like people's lives? So it's fun, bro. We random, but that's it.
That's good. That's good. And then
Hmm.
you also mentioned Black Sun Soup Part Two,
Yeah.
right? What can you share with us about that?
Um. Now with that, I'm kind of I want to do a lot of big features on that album.
Yeah.
Like I want to kind of reach out and make that album one of those where I put more people over the production I produce and kind of like, go back to the whole war general mindset. I want to look at my features as like the soldiers and my beats almost as like the tools and the weapons that I create for them. You know what I mean? And of course go back to my whole old school cartoon love story and create the narratives out of 2 to 3 second chopped up cartoon shit I was doing on Sun Tzu. Um, and do that, just give a continuation of the vibe because there's a lot of people that really like that shit and enjoy it. You know what I mean? I always say I break down this hip hop thing. Like that sound and that vibe I go with is for the people who love the Mad Lib, the Doom, the Jay Dilla vibes. Like they hear that stuff and they love it. You know what I mean? When we did Fear and Loathing, it's a boom bap album for people who just want to hear crazy beats and some dope rhymes. And then when me and Javi get alone, it's like we make the stuff that you're going to really feel and relate to. So a lot of contemporary listeners of hip hop now like that stuff. You know what I mean? And that's how we kind of break it down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's dope. And that's cool how you broke down like those kind of like subgenres of hip hop. Hip hop is so
Hmm.
big now that like other genres like rock and roll have it, right? They've got like alternative, and they've got
Right.
like classic, and they've got grunge, and
Hmm.
they've got heavy metal and shit. And hip hop's like that.
It's like
Hip
that.
hop, even though they kind of just try to make it like, you know, new and old, but it is
Right.
way more nuanced than that.
Way, way more nuance. Like I was saying that vinyl I made when I was younger, you know what I mean? That had went viral, the Growing Pains album. That that album relates to a lot of young people. Like when I was growing up, it's something about that Jay Dilla knowledge, K Tronada sound that really kind of lures young people into hip hop before you start appreciating the Pete Rocks and the Eric Sermon and the real core of it. It's almost like it's weird, bro. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? You go through that, and then you start to learn and get into other
It's a
stuff. You know what I mean?
gateway
So
drug.
yeah, it's like a game. Like, yo, bro, Pro Era for me is like what Wu-Tang was for y'all. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? It brought us in, and then after that, it's like you know become a student, getting everything else.
that's good.
Hmm.
That's good, my bro. Children of the Scorn out everywhere now. As we start to wrap up, my bro, where can people find the album? Where can they find you, and any other things you want to let us know before we head out?
Um, you know, the album is streaming everywhere. The digital download is available on my website, jockingthedivine.com. Um, Physicals are on the way. New merchandise is actually on the way. I'm working on something right now. We're going to do some dope little merch. Um, and you know shows and things like that are getting in order, so it's about to be a lot of visuals coming out, a lot of music, just a lot of pressure, you know what I mean. It's no more like waiting, you know what I mean, no more planning. I think we done figured it out. I done found the sound. I done found like vibes that really work for me and what I do, so now I'm just going all in, you know.
Yeah, yeah. Coach
Mhm.
there says vinyls, tapes, and CDs are en route.
Yep.
Um, you mentioned the deluxe.
Hmm.
Um, is it the deluxe that's gonna be coming out on vinyl? Is that gonna be a second? Is there gonna be like this album, and then there's gonna be like then the deluxe, and then like the deluxe push?
um the deluxe should be coming out on the vinyl as well.
All right,
Yeah. Yep.
that's dope.
um And hopefully I could drop the deluxe in like the next few weeks. It's literally just 3 to 4 more records, so it's coming.
That's dope, man.
Mhm.
I always love talking to you, man, and picking your brain because you're a dope cat. I always want to talk about philosophy and shit. But you dropped the video, Public Enemy, a dope track off of Children of the Scorn.
Hmm.
And you mentioned there may be some more video work coming. Can you tell us, like, is there something in the works now? Is there like a next single coming up?
Um, Not one, I would say I appreciate it, bro. I like talking to you too. You know what I mean? You give good interview, but yeah, I want to drop a video for Killers of the Flower Moon
Mm,
for this record that I wrote last night. I think I really want to do one for, and then I think I want to do a bigger budget video for the Bambi Red song and give that the visual it really needs. You know,
yeah.
the Public Enemy joint was a raw record that I know a lot of the core
That's
fans I
that
like to hear when I get
super lyric right
right,
there.
right, right. You know what I mean? So that's why the video was a little bit more grimy and raw. But going forward, the quality is going to get crazier. You know what I mean? So that's how I want to do it.
That's
Mhm.
dope, my bro. My man, I'm gonna be following you on your journey.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? I'm here for you if I can help in any way.
Thank you.
And as always, man, it's an honor to talk to you about your craft.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you.
Yeah. All right, my man. Be with you soon.
All right,
Salute.
peace.